Good morning and welcome to Wednesday and our devotions for today. Trust that you had a peaceful night and you are prepared for this new day with all its various opportunities. As we find ourselves in the middle of the week, we continue to remember our theme. Look at what is not seen. What is seen is temporal. What is not seen is eternal. And so we take opportunity now to come into a place of stillness and peace. We want to breathe into our bellies this morning from a place of gratitude. Just imagine a spot in the center of your belly, just a little ways below your navel. And a few inches towards your back. And just focus on that spot as we breathe deliberately, using our diaphragm to extend our stomach when we breathe in, and collapsing our stomach when we breathe out. Just focus on this manner of breathing. It's the way we are really intended to breathe. Not from that shallow place that we breathe, but from that deliberate place of lowering our diaphragm and pulling air in, and collapsing our diaphragm and sending it out. So bring your attention to that spot in your belly. Be conscious of your belly rising and falling as you go through this process. Just maintain your attention in that spot as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And whenever you are distracted, just gently bring your attention back to that spot and to your stomach rising and falling. Be intentional. Do not force it, but be intentional. Breathing in, breathing out. Being deliberate and taking your time. And just bringing yourself to that place of stillness and peace. Stillness and peace. Stillness and peace. The Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test Jesus, they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He answered, When it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil and adulterous generation asks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. Then he left them and went away. When the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Jesus said to them, "Watch out, and beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." They said to one another, "Is it because we have brought no bread?" And becoming aware of it, Jesus said, "You of little faith, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not perceive? Do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many baskets you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many baskets you gathered? How could you fail to perceive that I was not speaking about bread? Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." Then they understood that he had not told them to be aware of the yeast of bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. So here we are once again as we continue the journey through this wonderful week of the third Sunday after Pentecost, and we are mindful of our theme for the week. Look not on that which is seen, for that which is seen is temporal, but that which is not seen is eternal. On my walk yesterday morning, I was reminded of the word eternal, and the fact that when we think of the word eternal, sometimes we think of a long, long time. But I was just reminded that it would be important to refresh our memories with the idea that the word eternal means that it is outside of time, that there is no time. So it is not about a long time, but that it is no time, the eternal now. And so what that does is that speaks of eternity in the moment, in the eternal now. The more we're able to perceive of the timelessness of our existence, the more we're able to find ourselves in that space where we understand fully who we truly are as souls. So eternal, not extended time, but no time. A challenging concept to grasp, but important for us in our understanding of this journey. In our reading for this morning, Jesus is asked for a sign. Again, we want to see something. Jesus says, no sign will be given other than the sign of Jonah. And no doubt there is reference here to the fact that Jonah was 3 days in the belly of the whale, as it were. And perhaps Matthew making reference to Jesus' journey through death to resurrection. But even there, in the belly of the whale, in the experience of Jesus post-crucifixion in the tomb, that which is not seen, that which is not visible, that which we cannot comment on and make all kind of ideas around. It is not seen. Jesus tells his disciples to be wary of the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees. In other words, to be wary of their teachings, which are more earthbound than spiritual. And this is a message to us as well. A lot of our current teaching around Jesus is extremely earthbound, even though in ways it sounds like it is about heaven or another dimension. But the value systems and the concepts are just projections of our earthbound understanding onto what is supposed to be a heavenly realm. So even ideas like prosperity, what does prosperity mean? For many, prosperity means the abundance of wealth, the abundance of riches. That's an earthbound concept, because wealth and riches have no place within things that are ethereal, things that are eternal. What will you do with money? Jesus tells the story of the man with the large harvest who wanted to build bigger barns. But the question was, what are you going to do with all this when tonight your life is required of you? So it is important here that we understand that we must be very mindful of being misled down a path that sounds like it is about things eternal, but in reality is more about being anchored in that which is seen. So we speak of streets of gold and that kind of thing. Again, projecting that sense of earthbound value systems onto a realm of that which is without that kind of form and structure. And so it is important for us as we journey on to have an idea of what it is that we are about and where we must place our attention. In placing our attention on that which is not seen, we're able to transcend, even if just momentarily, we're able to transcend that which is temporal and grasp a glimpse of the eternal, the timelessness, the moment. And this is why I continue to encourage And through our organization of Contemplative Life Foundation, we continue to encourage persons to develop the practice of meditation and contemplation, because it is in these methodologies that we're able to broach that whole sense of the timelessness of our existence. And we're able to glean from those experiences so that we come back into our time-centeredness with something of worth that can assist us in this journey. There's work to be done, and we must do the work. It's not about talking about things. It's about actually being engaged in this work, practicing to focus on that which is not seen. Allow yourself those times of meditation to be still, to go into a space of the timeless now, and to be able, like the ancient ones who went into these spaces and were able to glean greater understanding which to this day we still utilize. The fact is that we are constantly living on their work, but we ourselves are not doing a work of our own, which is of far greater importance, because what really matters in this world is now. What is happening now? What is the experience of the now? We can't keep looking back. We must emphasize that which is not seen. And what is not seen is only accessible when we're able to go into this present moment and allow ourselves to be taken into that space.
Amazing grace will always be my song of praise, for it was grace that bought my liberty, and I do not know just why he came to love me so. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need, and I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died for me, and how marvelous that grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need. If not for grace, my soul would be a drifting ship with no safe harbor from the angry waves. But Calvary's cross shines brightest through the darkest of storms, and just in time His mercy rescued me, and I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died for me, and how marvelous that grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my faults. He saw me in need.